1 suitcase. 2 flickering porch lights. 0 answers. November 14th, 2001. Dena folded a week's worth of clothes, kissed her kids goodnight, and vanished into the Utah dark. No struggle. No note. Just a single, haunting detail the cops won't talk about. The porch light died at 2:13 a.m., and so did every lead. This isn't just a cold case. It's a ghost story, and someone's still breathing who knows how it ends. A quiet Utah neighborhood, tucked under a moonless sky. The kind of night where the cold bites your cheeks, and the only sound is the creak of a rusty swing set. November 14th, 2001, by dawn. 37-year-old Dena would be gone, leaving behind 2 sleeping children, a half-packed suitcase, and a porch light that flickered like a dying heartbeat. No shattered glass, no bloodstains, no screams echoing into the void, just silence, the kind that makes you wonder. How does someone vanish without a trace? Was it a choice, a secret, or something darker, hiding in the shadows of a town where everyone knows your name? And maybe your sins? Here's what we do know. That night, Dena folded her favorite sweater into a suitcase. She left her makeup bag on the bathroom counter. She didn't take her wedding ring. And by 2:13 a.m., that porch light, the one her husband swears he'd just fixed, went dark. Coincidence? Or a signal? 23 years later, the questions haven't faded. They've festered. Because when a woman disappears, the world tries to bury her story under whispers of she probably ran away, or bad things don't happen here. But Dena's case? It refuses to rot. It claws its way back. So let's ask the question Utah still hears in its nightmares. What happened to Dena? And why does her ghost feel closer than ever? Let's get one thing straight. Dena wasn't a headline. She wasn't a cold case. She was the woman who memorized your coffee order before you slid into your diner booth. The kind of mom who packed 2 pudding cups in her son's lunchbox. One for him. One for the kid who always forgot theirs. The neighbor who'd wave from her porch, cigarette in hand, laughing as her golden retriever dug up her marigolds. But here's the truth they don't put on missing posters. Dena lived in the almost. Almost divorced. Almost happy. Almost free. See, 6 months before she vanished. She'd started stashing cash in a tampon box under the sink. 20 here. 20 here. 50 there. Saving up for, what? A new apartment? A plane ticket? Or just the courage to leave a marriage that had turned into a minefield of slammed doors and, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. The night she disappeared, her sister swears Dena sounded hopeful on the phone. Meet me tomorrow, she said. I've got news. But here's the catch. Dena's husband claims they fought that night about money. About the kids. About the way she'd started locking the bathroom door when she showered. So who was Dena? A devoted mother planning a future? Or a woman unraveling, desperate to escape? Maybe both. Because that's the cruelest part of this mystery. It forces us to ask, how well do we ever really know someone? Even the ones who borrow our sugar at midnight. Let's walk through that night minute by minute. Because here's the thing about mysteries. The devil isn't just in the details. It's in the seconds, the breaths between words, the gaps where the truth hides. And in Dena's case, those gaps are screaming. 10:30 p.m., the last phone call. Dena's sister picks up. No hello, just Dena's voice. Hushed, like she's cupping the receiver. Can't talk long. I'll explain tomorrow. A pause. Then, if I don't show up, check the blue folder. Click. The sister swears she heard a car door slam. Or was it a cupboard? A gun. 23 years later. She still can't sleep without replaying that click. 11:15 p.m., Dena's husband, Mark, claims he took 2 sleeping pills and crawled into bed. Says he didn't hear a thing. But here's the problem. The bottle was full the next morning. And the bed, half-made, like someone left in a hurry. Or like no one slept there at all. 2 a.m., Mrs. Wilkins, the neighbor across the street, wakes up to her dog's low growl. She peeks through her blinds. Dena's Toyota Camry is idling in the driveway. Trunk propped open. A shadow leans inside, too tall to be Dena. She thinks. Then the porch light flickers. The shadow freezes. Mrs. Wilkins blinks. The car's gone. 2:13 a.m. The porch light dies. Not a blown bulb. The power dies. Just for Dena's house. The street lamps stay on. The neighbor's TV keeps humming. Only Dena's home plunges into darkness for 11 minutes. When the lights snap back on, the house is empty. No car. No suitcase. No Dena. 6 a.m., dawn breaks. Mark Dean calls 911. My wife's missing. His voice flat, like he's ordering pizza. Cops arrive to find coffee brewing in the kitchen. 2 mugs on the counter. One half full, lipstick smudged on the rim. The other, clean, untouched. Here's where the timeline fractures. Because nothing adds up. The suitcase, clothes folded with military precision. Toothbrush tucked into a Ziploc bag. But her phone charger? Still plugged in by the bed. Her favorite sneakers? Laced by the door. Who packs a toothbrush but forgets their shoes? Who leaves their wedding ring in a soap dish but takes a photo of their kids tucked in their wallet? And the car? Found 3 days later in a Walmart parking lot. 20 miles away. Keys dangling in the ignition. A half-eaten granola bar in the cup holder. No fingerprints. No DNA. Just a parking ticket stamped 2:45 a.m. But wait, the Walmart lot closes at 2 a.m. So who wrote the ticket? Or was it planted? Then there's the cash. $327 missing from her secret stash. But her credit cards? Never used. Not once. Like she vanished into a world where cash is king and cameras are blind. But the loudest silence? The kids. 7-year-old Jessica and 5-year-old Tyler. Both asleep down the hall. Neither heard a shout. A cry. A goodbye. How does a mother leave without whispering, "I love you" one last time? Unless she didn't leave. Unless she couldn't. The cops spun theories. Domestic dispute gone wrong. Secret lover. Mental breakdown. But here's what they can't explain. Why did Dena's dog, Duke, a golden retriever who barked at mailmen, stay silent that night? Why did the security camera at the gas station next door conveniently malfunction from 1:30 a.m. to 3 a.m.? And why, after 23 years, does Mark Dean still live in that house with the same porch light that still flickers every November 14th? This isn't a timeline. It's a trap. Every answer leads to 3 more questions. Every alibi crumbles like a cookie in milk. But here's what keeps me up at night. Dena Dean didn't vanish in the shadows. She disappeared in a house full of electricity, with neighbors a stone's throw away, and 2 babies down the hall. So I'll ask you this. How does someone vanish without a trace? Unless the trace was erased. In a town of 3,000 people, everyone's a character. The baker who knows your birthday. The librarian who remembers your late fees. But when someone vanishes, those familiar faces twist into something darker. Because in a place this small, evil doesn't wear a mask. It waves to you at the grocery store. Let's start with the obvious, Mark Dean. The husband, the man who called 911 with the enthusiasm of someone ordering takeout. The man who slept through his wife's disappearance, or says he did. Here's what's off. Mark didn't report Dena missing until 6 a.m., even though her car vanished hours earlier. When cops asked why he waited, he shrugged. Thought she went for a drive. But Dena hated driving at night, hated the dark. And Mark, he washed her coffee mug before the police arrived. Good as that. Then there's Robbie Haskins, the mechanic at Pete's Auto. 2 weeks before Dena disappeared, a customer saw them arguing outside the diner. Robbie's face red, Dena gripping her car keys like a weapon. "Stay away from me," she hissed. When asked, Robbie claimed it was about a $200 repair bill. But Dena's car was a Toyota. Robbie specialized in Chevys. So what was the real debt? Eddie Cash Marino, the diner regular who always sat in Dena's section, tipped in dollar coins, asked about her shifts. "You work Fridays? Who picks up the kids?" Harmless small talk, until you learn Eddie had no fixed address. Slept in his van, left town the day after Dena vanished. Police found that van in 2003, abandoned in Arizona. Inside, a map of Utah with a circle around Dena's neighborhood, and a single golden retriever hair stuck to the carpet. Duke's hair. But small towns have rules. You don't snitch. You don't ask why Pastor Eli showed up at Dena's house 3 times the week she disappeared, even though the Deans hadn't gone to church in years. You don't ask why Linda Wilkins, the neighbor who saw the idling car, sold her house 6 months later and moved to Oregon. Needed a fresh start, she said. Or why Deputy Carl, the first cop on the scene, quit the force in 2002 and became a recluse. Here's the problem: no body, no blood, no proof, just a gallery of maybes. Maybe Mark's sleeping pill alibi was a lie. Maybe Robbie's rage went beyond a repair bill. Maybe Eddie's van wasn't just a van, but without evidence. Suspicion becomes a ghost. It haunts everyone. Then there's the theory no one dares say aloud. What if Dena's still alive? What if she's out there, sipping coffee under a new name, praying her kids don't find her. It's possible. But here's what doesn't fit. The $327 she took? Never spent. The photo of her kids in her wallet? Left behind. The mother who packed a toothbrush but not her son's crayon drawing that said, "I love you to the moon"? No, that's not a woman who chose to disappear. So let's circle back to the question that matters. Who benefits? Mark got the house, the life insurance, the freedom to remarry 6 years later. Robbie's auto shop mysteriously paid off its debts 2 months after Dena vanished. Eddie? Well, Eddie's still missing. But the darkest possibility isn't a person. It's a secret. A truth so rotten, the whole town agreed to bury it. Because in places like this, loyalty runs thicker than blood. You protect your own, even the monsters. Think about it. Someone fixed Dena's porch light the day before she vanished. Someone knew her routine, knew when the kids were asleep, knew the Walmart parking lot cameras were fake, knew how to make a woman evaporate. And that someone, they're still here, still laughing at barbecues, still flipping burgers at the diner, still passing you on Main Street with a nod and a smile. Because the scariest part of this story isn't the monster under the bed. It's the monster who made the bed, who tucked in the kids, who still sleeps in Dena's house, under Dena's roof, with Dena's wedding ring in his pocket. So I'll ask you, who do you trust? The husband? The mechanic? The drifter? Or the quiet voice in your gut that whispers? It's never the one you suspect. It's the one you don't. Most cold cases collect dust. They become footnotes in police archives, or trivia for true crime forums. But Dena Dean's story? It's different. It breathes. It follows you. Why? Because this isn't just about a missing woman. It's about the ghosts we all carry, the ones that whisper. What if it happens to you? Let's start with the children. Jessica and Tyler Dean, 7 and 5 years old when their mother tucked them in that night. Promised pancakes in the morning, and vanished. Today, they're adults. Jessica's a nurse. Tyler teaches high school math. But every November 14th, they post the same plea online. Someone knows something. Imagine carrying that weight, growing up with a ghost for a mother, wondering if the stranger who bags your groceries is the reason your childhood photos are all you have left. Then there's the town, Mill Creek, Utah. Population, 3,200. The kind of place where you can't buy aspirin without someone asking about your arthritis. But after Dena disappeared, doors locked earlier. Porch lights stayed on all night. Trust curdled into suspicion. Because if it happened to Dena, the woman who brought casseroles to funerals and volunteered at the animal shelter, then who's safe? But the real haunting isn't in the fear. It's in the guilt. Think about the diner regulars who noticed Dena's hands shaking as she poured their coffee, but said nothing. The neighbor who heard shouting next door and turned up the TV. The cousin who knew about the $327 in the tampon box, but kept quiet. We tell ourselves, it's not my business, until it's too late. And then there's you. Yeah, you, the one watching this, thinking, I'd never let this happen. But would you? Let's be honest. How many times have you brushed off a friend's text that felt off? Ignored a coworker's bruise? Told yourself, they'll figure it out? Dena's case forces us to stare into that mirror. To ask, would I have been the hero or the bystander? Here's the thing about secrets, they rot. Take Deputy Carl, the first responder. Retired in 2002. Drank himself to death by 2010. His widow found a shoebox under his desk. Inside, every newspaper clipping about Dena's case, marked with red pen. The last one, from 2009, had 3 words scribbled in the margin. I should have known. Or Robbie Haskins, the mechanic. His shop burned down in 2015. Arson. He refused to rebuild. Moved to Alaska. Changed his name. When a reporter tracked him down in 2020, he said, "Tell Jessica I'm sorry." For what? He wouldn't say. Even the house is haunted. New owners moved in last year. Lasted 6 months. Said the porch light flickered every night at 2:13 a.m. Found Duke's old dog collar in the attic. And once, at midnight, they swear they heard a woman's voice humming, "You are my sunshine," Dena's lullaby to the kids. But the darkest ghost? The one we all feed. The idea that monsters aren't under the bed. They're in it. They pack lunches. They fix porch lights. They kiss you goodnight. Dena's story terrifies us because it turns love into a question mark. Because it forces us to wonder, how well do I really know the people I love? And worse, how well do they know me? So why won't this case die? Because Dena Dean isn't just a victim. She's every woman who's ever texted, "I'm fine," when she wasn't. Every mother who's stared at her kids and thought, "What if I disappear?" Every person who's ever kept a secret so heavy, it feels like a knife against their throat. This isn't a ghost story. It's a reckoning. Someone knows. Maybe it's the man watching this in his truck, sweating through his shirt. Maybe it's the woman biting her nails, remembering the way her brother came home that night with mud on his boots. Or maybe it's you, the one who's always wondered why your father kept a locked drawer full of Utah maps. The truth is out there, but it's not in the evidence. It's in the silence, the kind that grows louder every year, the kind that keeps Jessica Dean awake, scrolling through missing person forums at 3 a.m., the kind that makes you lock your door twice tonight. So here's the question we're all avoiding. What if solving this case means destroying the myth we cling to, that bad things only happen to strangers? Dena Dean's ghost isn't in Utah. It's in your hesitation, your doubt, your guilt. And until we face that, her story will never end. 23 years. That's how long Dena Dean's case has been sitting in a filing cabinet, yellowing under coffee stains and regret. 23 years of "we did all we could." 23 years of without a body. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Evidence doesn't expire. It waits. It watches. And right now, somewhere in this country, someone's hands are shaking as they watch this video, because they know they've been holding a match to a fuse for over 2 decades. Let's talk about the car. That 1998 Toyota Camry found in the Walmart lot. You've heard about the granola bar, the keys. But here's what they didn't scream in the headlines. A single strand of hair, coiled under the passenger seat. Not Dena's, not her husband's, someone else's. And today, DNA isn't just DNA. It's a family tree, a genealogy database, a cousinsancestry.com hobby that cracks the case wide open. Then there's the suitcase, the one the cops called neatly packed. But in 2001, they missed it, the smudge on the handle, a partial thumbprint, too faint for the tech back then. Now, AI can reconstruct ridges from dust. And that print, it's not Mark's. It's not Eddie the Drifter's. It belongs to a ghost, or someone pretending to be one. But evidence isn't just forensic. It's human. It's the waitress at the diner who remembers a man in a baseball cap staring at Dena's schedule pinned behind the counter. It's the teenager who lied about seeing headlights on Canyon Road that night because he was out past curfew, smoking weed. It's the text message someone sent at 2:07 a.m. It's done. Deleted. But servers don't forget. Here's what keeps me up. Dena's case isn't cold. It's frozen by fear. Fear of ruining a reputation. Fear of admitting you saw something. Fear of your own brother. But let me ask you this. What's scarier? Speaking up or lying awake at 2:13 a.m.? Wondering if your silence let a killer walk free? Jessica and Tyler Dean aren't kids anymore. They're adults with scars no MRI can detect. Jessica still texts her mom's old number every birthday, just in case. Tyler can't walk past a golden retriever without choking up. These aren't characters in a true crime episode. They're real people. And they're begging you, yes, you, to dig up the truth you've buried. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know anything. But what if you do? What if that harmless joke your uncle made about Utah winters was a slip-up? What if the trip your coworker took in November 2001 wasn't to visit his mom? What if the reason your neighbor's garage stays locked isn't because of tools, but because of a suitcase, a toothbrush, and a flickering porch light he can't bring himself to trash? Here's the deal. Evil thrives in the unspoken. It hides behind, I don't want to get involved. But Dena's case isn't about playing detective. It's about doing the bare minimum as a human being. Pick up the phone, type an email, whisper a name. You don't need proof. You just need to care enough to say, this might be nothing, but... And to the person out there who's guilty, we're closer than you think. Every year, your face ages. Your alibi weakens. Your wife side-eyes you when Dena's name pops up on the news. You're living on borrowed time. And that clock's ticking louder. The kids you coached in Little League? They're forensic experts now. The friend who helped you move a car in 2001? He's got a daughter he loves more than he fears you. This isn't just about Dena. It's about every cold case gathering dust. Every family screaming into the void. Every town pretending it's safe. We solved this, and we proved that monsters don't get to win. That time isn't their ally. It's a ticking bomb strapped to their chest. So I'm not asking. I'm begging. If you've ever laughed at a joke in Dena's diner, ever borrowed her sugar, Ever driven through Mill Creek with your doors unlocked? Do something. Call the tip line. Send an anonymous letter. Tell your therapist. Because Dena Dean's story ends one of two ways, with a breakthrough or a grave. And if you stay silent, you're picking the shovel. Look, I get it. Secrets feel safe. But they're not. They're grenades. And the pin's been pulled for 23 years. Speak, before it's too late for all of us.